public midday call. So what everyone has to do is you have to look at the risk disclosure, and then you also have to look at my positions. Okay, this is what we call the virtual trading floor. Everyone's like, hey, Red Dog, how do I see your trades live? Well, on the virtual trading floor, you have a trader hub with probably a few hundred people talking about ideas, and they get to see all my stuff live. So if you look over here, it's a little cleaner. Basically, this shows what has been done today. You know, I got stopped out of Amazon, which I'll go over when it went below 1880, but I also was able to sell my 540 and 510 calls. Look, I had them overnight and I sold today, so it gets to see when I had it and when I took it off. So basically, I put these on Friday, and I think I sold the 510s for, I think, $36 today from 5. Anyway, these are the positions. Some are from today, some have been managing. This is everybody talking. Let's get into the charts. This morning, well, let's go. All right. So basically, this morning, you know, I went over the chart of the S&P. Some people are saying how overbought we were, and at this point, you know, still hovering above the 8-day, following it the entire time. You know what? Since October 11th, we've been below the 8-day for 4 sessions. So some guys like, Red Dog, what happens when we get below the 8-day? Do you go from 20 positions in your portfolio approach down to 10, 5? Well, on this day, after this nice active sequence, I think I did get down to like 5, lost a little bit of money, bottom tail regrouped, and then right in here, when it digested above the 8-day again, you had all the time in the world, not all the time, but a few sessions to all of a sudden take out 3154, and now 130 handles of a new active sequence. If you adjust it right here. Sometimes you break, you rally up, and then pow, that didn't happen. We resumed the uptrend, and as of right now, things are holding in pretty damn well, going sideways here. Here's 3288. So now I'm going to look everywhere. So this morning I did a little video just based on the fact that I think a lot of people who traded some of these names that had big moves started to reverse the trade. What they tried to do is they started to be cute. They were like really upset that, you know, they bought Beyond at 75 and they sold it at 92. Or they bought it at 75, added 81, and they sold it at 87. Some guys like me, I actually sold it above 100 yesterday and I was still upset. You know, and then some guys are taking the opposite side of the trade too early because they feel like they have to do something because they sold it early and the stock owes them money. Not the truth. Okay, same thing with Tesla. Tesla, I've been on this thing for almost, you know, a quarter with so many ways to make money. You know, a lot of guys I see around me doing the wrong thing. Instead of trying to buy calculated scenarios, which have only been a few, they're taking pain trying to catch a cute short trade versus the juicy, meaty trade. But anyway, there's been so much to do, so many names on the move. Let me go over a few, especially the ones you just saw on the VTF. So a lot of people are like, hey, Red Dog, how long have you been in pins? Pins is not a big deal. I'm like, well, I was in pins here. Okay, tweeted out to everyone. I think we have a bit of a bottom consolidation, or as long we could add. And I said, I think it goes into the gap. Here's the gap, 2128. Look at that. That's a nice little trade. It's not a blockbuster. It's not a barn burner, but this is a nice move. So it was one of the positions. Everyone's like, why are you sitting in pins? It's a piece of, you know what? Anyway, it got above the 8 and 21 day, went sideways, held in, and then there you go. So I'll tell you a new trade I just put on today. I put on this RVLV. Just put it on. Not because I've traded in a while. I don't even think I, charted it in a while. But a lot of these things are going. It's going sideways. It's above the moving averages. So I think, hey, maybe there's a trade here. Not a great trade. It's above the moving average. This thing was as high as, 48. But I'm like, hey, let me be in a little bit of this just in case it gets going. Tier 1 now, maybe a tier 2 over this, and then perhaps it could see 22. I also got back into Uber today. Why did I get back into Uber? Well, we were buying it in here. Okay, I think we were talking about it the last week of December. I was buying it like 29. I was like, let's add it above 31. And I took it off into here, and then look at that. A nice bull flag held the 8-day. So today there was a volume spike. I got back in. At least now you know your risk. Because I know if it starts getting above this spot, there's a bit more room. So that's why I'm back in Uber. Uber is like a new position I put on after taking it off for a few days. But I don't tweet about everything. Some of them just trades. Something I've had more commitment to has been the wellness group. And this morning, everyone's beating me up. Like APHA, they came out with bad earnings. How could you get us in this group again? I'm like, what do you mean again? I'm like, we've been buying CGC since $18. I accumulated the last week or two of December. I did a beautiful huge. No, a video with Christina, who is a good friend of mine, and we're going to start doing a lot of videos together. She's awesome. Talking about how you could buy the wellness group for the January effect, and then we had one or two spurts. And yesterday was a great trade. Yesterday, you had 3 spots to add, and then you could have trimmed into the close. And I did say we have alpha in the morning, so it's either going to be up with it or down with it. And anyway, CGC did just fine. How could you have been prepared? Well, here, I try and prepare my entire, virtual trading floor as well as Redler All Access beforehand. So, first time we were buying in here, sold the pop, stayed with it. Bought a dip again, sold the pop, stayed with it. Red Dog reversal long right here. Okay, right there. It looked like it was going to break below. I think I actually got out that day, and I got right back in it. You're allowed to go back to the trade, lose a little bit of commissions. Big deal. They're so damn cheap now. And then, hovering here, I bought above 21.65, bought above 22 and a quarter, went as high as 23.20. So coming in today, it was down 40 cents. Do you freak out? Do you say, oh, this trade's over. I can't believe this is happening again? No, you say, okay, maybe these things have been down 50 to 70%. Maybe some of them are down 90%. Let's see if it's priced in. So I wrote a little quickie. Okay, what I say? CGC gave us many ways to manage, blah, 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 blah. Alpha came out soft. This was the language. I'm like, maybe it prices in. And I would like to see CGC hold 21.50 to stay super involved versus just, getting it choppier. I'm in Crone, I wanted it to hold 7, and SNDL, I wanted to hold 260. Well, anyway, where did this get to? This got to as low as 21.83. 20 cents above, and there was pretty much no pain. Plus, it went green right away. So if you were scared, oh my God, I have too much overnight, it went green right away, you could have sold some. And then once, really situated, you could have bought it back, and now all of a sudden it's looking better. And I do think it works its way to 26.27. Crone, we talked about 7. What did it do? Look at that. Held right where it broke above. That's kind of healthy. Now we'll see if in a little bit of time, maybe it starts going above 8 to here. I'm still in it. I've been accumulating it in here. Sold the pop, started accumulating again. One of these times, you're going to sell a pop and you're going to sell too much, and it's just going to keep going and you're going to get upset. So try and stay with some. That's kind of happening with this TLRY. First time, had a real day yesterday. Now you had a second day. This was great because it showed that some things could, buck the trend of PHA, whatever, going down. I'm also still in this SNDL. I do like the way it looks. Actually, it looks pretty damn perfect now. I didn't buy it here. I didn't even know the stock existed when it broke here. Hopefully, if you did, you got out of the way. Right here, a few friends of mine were like, hey, I like the fundamentals. I think it's battered and bruised for the January effect. I think you could buy it below 240 and just buy ugly. I know you don't like doing that. You like to buy tight patterns. You like to buy high and sell higher, whatever. I bought this whole way down. It was uncomfortable. Sold some, bought it again, had a nice move, and now it did hold 260. Nice bull flag for a little guy like this. And I do think, at some point, the other, like CGC's, above 22, 23. If these things prove that they could actually hold, I think this gets above 336 and gets towards $4 to $5. So I'm still in the wellness group. I'm trading around it, and it's been very, very profitable because, we bought it right. We didn't ride the whole thing down for the past year or two. We're playing an active sequence. Okay, new active sequences when a trade develops and you try and measure whether or not, it's good enough to stay with. And this so far is good enough. It could have fallen apart today. It could have been down big and not priced in it, but it was fine. So today, beyond, I had a fantastic strategy to buy it around 75. I did a video here, I think a week ago, when it was, getting above 81. Okay, and then, I had the call spread, this and that, and then yesterday sold someone was strong, was up $12 today. So I did my video just saying, hey guys, be careful just shorting things because you got out. And listen, I shorted it today. Yeah, I did. And I tweeted to RAA right around 130 after it did a quick spike to 135 because I knew my defined risk. I also did my homework with my chart, and I saw 133 to 135 was a level that I thought there'd be some resistance. So I did not short here or here or here. I shorted into this. Okay, so anyway, it did put a high in right around what? 135, and it did it in the first 5 minutes. So then I tweeted to Redler All Access, hey, if you want to try this short, okay, now is the time versus 135. I think it was 131-ish at the time. So I didn't get the high. Let's put a different font here. But I knew where it was calculated. If you look here at the 1 day, you'll see where it was. It was right here. So I had a quick push, came off. So right around this 132-ish, I'm like, now you could short it verse there. Okay, and then we had a quick move lower. That was fantastic. Okay, if you started shorting it here or shorting it here, who knows? Maybe you got stopped out because you shorted too early. You waited for this was a 15-minute high, so that was when I tweeted it. Let's see right here. Where was it? Where was if you're watching? Let's see. Where was that tweet? Because people are like, oh, you don't timestamp it. You talk about it after. Okay, that's crap. Not true. I try. The VTF timestamps everything electronically. So if you're looking to do that, that's if Redler All Access, I try and do my best. I have 2 thumbs and I have 6 monitors and I have things going on everywhere. So it's hard for me to tell you everything that I'm doing. So anyway, so the tweet. Let's see. The tweet. Where was the tweet? This is I have so many in here. Okay. Here we go. Hold on, almost there. All right. This was at this tweet was at 9:51. Okay, if you want to try beyond short, you could have a stop at 135. Whoops, it's hard to see it. Anyway, so this was after this was put in. This was 9:45. So this was 9:48. So right here is where I came out and said it. And the VTF saw me get short. Okay, he's alive, and I shorted it, and I covered some in here, shorted a bounce, and then actually look at this inside wedge. So even if you missed it, there was another trade here. So there's another trade right there as it was wedging. So to me, I'm like, I think the fever broke. I also tweeted I sold some 145 calls for Friday, thinking, hey, I could trade around this. I know it's it's very dangerous. It's dangerous to be short. You have risks unlimited too, so it's dangerous to sell calls. But I figured, hey, why can't I sell the 145s for $3? And they went down to $1 real quickly on this, and I'm staying with some. And now, if you look at this intraday pattern, getting a little different, getting tight. If this were actually to break this little spot here, all right, chances are, you might get a move back towards this as the trade is starting to develop. But anyway, each time, and down here was tight too. So lots of different ways to actively day trade this too. So it's nice when this thing's in play. So anyway, that was the spot. Okay, it wasn't anticipating it. There was a point of reference, and that was that. All I did today with Tesla is I sold my 510 calls that I bought on Friday for $5 for $37. That was great. Didn't expect that. And 540s I sold for I think $36 also. But they were out for earnings. I said, figured I'm not going to hold it for earnings. But anyway, this would probably be some resistance. So if you covered in the whole year, I would say this would be a spot to, maybe test, but it could blow through there if you're trying to, short or look for, some cute action. I'm going to stay with the calls, or it really shouldn't get back above here, if it's going to be any good where it doesn't like all of a sudden squeeze everybody later. Let's go back to the 1 day. I mean the year to date. Okay, what a move. By the way, if you guys want Redler All Access, come on, here it is. Type this out, t3live.com/RAA. I'm up every day at 4:45. My notes getting complete as real time as possible. I send it in to editing at 7:30. Then I do my morning call video, which is just like this, but pre-market where I'm focusing on stuff. And then I do 14 to 20 charts. So that's that. So there it is. Let's go back to here. So, I would think this probably turns into like a doji today. And a doji would be fine, because then maybe it rests in here, and then who knows, maybe it goes again, but a doji would be okay. Tesla, still, still strong. Guys, by the way, this was your point of reference. This was yesterday. Okay, yesterday, I came in with options, and I said, hey, if it gets above 498.49, which was this area, it's going to get above 500, and I actually bought the stock. Everyone's like, how could you buy it higher like this? I'm like, well, it just held in here for 3 days, held the 8th day. If it gets above 498, it's going to get through the 500s. And anyway, it did. Hit 525 and now hit a high here. It's extended from the 8th day, but by no means am I comfortable enough where I'm going to all of a sudden do a synthetic short strategy like I did here. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into this day, I sold the 510s, the 515s, and 520s on Wednesday. Lost sleep Wednesday and Thursday, but made good money for Friday. If this continued into, the 560s, which I guess could happen, hey, then maybe I sell the 610s. I don't know. We'll see, but not for earnings, but for the week before earnings. So anyway, so where did I lose money today? I lost money in Amazon. Amazon, we had a great trade from 1785 to 19 and change, and it was fantastic. We all made a lot of money. I maneuvered it a few times in there, and then the last 2 days it was weaker, and then today it broke 1880 and I got stopped out. Here was the 1880. What a pain in the arse. It is all flow. So let me tell you what I did, because this stock is starting to have my number. Okay, and who knows if it's going to work. So it did get down to here. I knew this 1760 was a level too. Anyway, this was when it was really calculated. We had a quick move. I made a lot of money. I think you guys did also. A little red dog reversal buy, sold some, bought some, sold some, and then in here got stopped out. In here I bought it, got stopped out, so I lost. So what I did is this, okay? Today when it was down there, I know it sounds crazy, but I bought the $2,000 calls. I bought them for 11, okay, for earnings, for the earnings, okay. And I'm not an option specialist, but this is what I think this is what I'm going to do, okay. If everyone is so damn negative and this thing is going to actually, surprise everyone, because everyone's so worried about AWS, they're worried about Alexa, they're worried about sales, they're worried about everyone going brick and mortar. Everyone's worrying about something for the first time with Amazon. They didn't get the Jedi contract, so that means sentiment is compressed. Okay, and this high here was in there on September 18th, and so that's a long time. So I'm thinking, okay, if I only have FOMO of missing something. If it goes down 100 points, we'll trade it after and we'll let it build. But if something happened where they, really knocked the ball out of the park that nobody was expecting, and then the guidance was fine and AWS was fine, and who knows, maybe due to split, or maybe his wife is done selling, I would think that this thing blasts above 2035 and 2050, and you could see like 2100 or more. So to me, I'm like, if I could buy the 2000s for 11 and I sell, because it's a lot of premium, and I sell just say the 2080s for 6, I'm spending $5. So even if you just did 10, you spend $5,000, you could make between 2000 and 2080, you can make 75 points. So you're risking $5,000 to make 75,000 if Amazon's spectacular and all of a sudden breaks out of a 2-year plus range that it's been in. If it doesn't, you lose all your premium. You lose $5,000. You lose your 10 contracts. You lose 10 grand, 20 grand. I mean, 10 grand if you buy double or whatever it is. So for me, I'd risk 10 grand to maybe make 75 to 150 if all of a sudden it's spectacular. If not, you lose all your premium. I just made more in the throwing some shit against the wall, on Friday by switching to the 510 and 540s. So I'm kind of using that, even though even that once the money's booked, you can't say I'm going to use that money because it was too easy, because it's never too easy. But anyway, that's a big if. So that's my kind of thoughts on Amazon, because I'm sick of trading it in here. Here it looked great. It was tight. It was a down trade. It was coiled. It's still, I guess, fair here. But anyway, I think I'm just going to put on a call spread, so this way I don't feel like I'm going to miss something if it happens. Facebook, I'm still in the stock. It was fantastic. This was one of my focus names on the, in the Redler All Access here. Added there, sold some, added even yesterday above 220, and I'm still sitting in some. It's a little extended, but I'm very small now, so I want to watch it. Once I get out of something, sometimes I disengage, and then if I disengage, I don't watch the action, and I have so much stuff going on, I don't go back. I'd like to see the moving averages catch up, maybe a whole 220. That's what happened with me with Microsoft. If you remember, Microsoft, I was rocking and rolling with this bad boy. To the fact where I finally actually had a little lady luck here for the first time, or any time. After earnings, I bought it there. Okay, and then all of a sudden, that's when they got the news that they got the government contract, made good money, went sideways, and then I did a video and tweeted everyone, said I'm buying it versus 142, and then I think it can go to 150 plus, and I sold it into here. So it was a great trade, but what happened was I never got back involved. I think I got back for a day on this red dog reversal and sold some. I don't remember exactly what happened, but P.S., you had a red dog reversal here, then you move, and then it held the 8-day, and it's still trending, but I have not been long this ever since I took over 10 points out of the trade, because I had other things going on. So sometimes, you don't need to be perfect, but if you keep something on, at least it keeps you motivated and involved and engaged. That's what I did a lot with some of these IPOs that I traded, and got the calculated money, and then I just sat in it while it floated around and rebuilt. So this looks pretty good. Apple, this too, I caught a. First of all, you remember right here, guys, I did a video for Apple the day after earnings, because everybody wanted to hear from me. They used to think I was the Apple man. I do trade Apple a lot, but anyway, that was right here. Remember, I'm like, oh, well, if it holds 245, you could buy it, and then it closed here. I'm like, well, if it goes above this, you could add to it, and that was a great day and a half play. And then it held up here, and I held it this entire time. And then you had a bull flag continuation, consolidation above the 8-day, continuation here. This was huge. We were trying to figure out if the market can hang in there, and it did by reclaiming this spot. This spot I think was 95.10, and now it's hovering in here again above the 8-day moving average this entire time. What do you do with the stock above the 8-day moving average? You try and buy dips. You try and look for bull flag continuation patterns. You don't try and just fade it for a cute short. Some people I heard are losing a lot of money short Apple. I'm like, what the hell are you doing short Apple? Anyway, now it's might build another bull flag. As far as these little ones that you guys have seen on my VTF, I'll go over real quick. So it doesn't look, it's still hanging here, this MBIO. All right, so this is a little biotech. Okay, I don't play these that often. It was the end of the year. A bunch of my friends who are sales traders like, hey, we have guys that have been accumulating this for a year or so in this whole area. Had a huge spike on that whole bubble boy thing, and then they needed to raise money, so they raised money around 4. So they've already raised their money. And he's saying that he thinks that, they have 7 trials happening and that they're ready to rock and roll with some good news. And if that happens, it could be 5 to 7 or more. He's saying more. This thing back here was, all the way in the teens. So now it's been going sideways, and he said it's in a much better position here than it was up there. But anyway, so I'm in it. I've been accumulating. I don't have a stop because these things are loose and wide. They are at the JP Morgan conference, so maybe once something comes out of there, we'll see. So that's why I'm in this one, and plan to stay in it. Okay, and it's still holding. Like technically, if I didn't know, and I have a friend who's saying, hey, just because he's, at least he thinks that there's no bad news going to happen. There's not going to be a money raise. They're not going to come out with a bad trial, so they're waiting for a catalyst. So anyway, if I was looking at this, I said, hey, look at this consolidation. It's been going sideways now for almost a year, hanging in here. If we could get some real good news and get above 460 and 480, why wouldn't this thing get to the 6s? There's nothing up here. But obviously we need a catalyst. That's why you see that on my BTF. Let me see one more time what's CGC doing. Looky. Oh my goodness. Looking good. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. Saw some commitment to it. What's SNDL doing one more time? Hanging in here. I don't know if I'm going to buy higher here, but I might. We'll see how it goes. What else? Netflix was a pain in the butt today. Opened above 343. Couldn't hold it. Oh, Disney did a red dog reversal. Yes. What's a red dog reversal? My goodness, look at that. You know what it is. Gets below 143, stops people out because they think it's going a lot lower, and then reclaims that area. That's a red dog reversal. I saw it happen. I didn't buy it. Yes, I'm not perfect. I don't buy everything. But I should have bought that. Damn. Now you have this little trend line here. Oh, you know what? ICE. That's a pain in the ass. I don't know what's going on here. I am long some ICE, and it's still in here. I added to it yesterday. As long as it stays above here, I would stay with some. It's not my usual name. It's not a barn burning type name, but it's fine. Take one more look at Uber. Looking fine. One more look at pins. What a friggin' move. Looking good. And then this RVLV, maybe play some catch up. That's a new position today. RVLV. It's trying to poke its head above this. CRWD. I played it a week or two ago here. Had a nice move, and now, if I can just go sideways here and go a little bit, maybe I'll get back in it for more action. And that's it. You know what? It's 12. What time is it? It's 12:22. For some reason, I was up a lot last night. I actually watched the end of the game. Someone's like, Redler, what the hell are you doing up 1 o'clock? I just woke up. I need to get a drink of water, and I looked. Rule of night: do not look at your phone when you wake up in the middle of the night. It gets your mind going, and it took me about 45 minutes to go back to sleep, and then the alarm clock went up at 4:45. So, another rule is, you're not supposed to have your phone by your bed. It's supposed to be downstairs. So this way your mind rests, and you don't pick it up, and then this way when you wake up in the morning, you shower, you brush your teeth, you wake up before then going downstairs to see what the overseas markets are doing, what the futures are doing, what news there is. Let yourself wake up a little bit. But anyway, I'm a little tired and go to the gym. I'm going to refresh and see what the rest of the day brings. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, guys.